Hello and welcome back to Bull Bear Traders. Today I will review the stock that will have earning tomorrow, and I'm going to review the of stocks, mainly banks tomorrow, and the biggest one will be American Express. So let's talk about this. Alright, so last time I expected to pull back to 300, even though it did not on the first day, but the second day or the third day it's actually hit 300, bounce, and then pull back even lower, and after that it grinded higher. And then now, gotta pull back a little bit. But you can see that the stock is still hugging this orange line right here. And right now, you can see it's broke below, came back to test, and then pull back. All right, so let's take a look. All right, let's draw some trend line. Okay. Okay, so if we look at the okay. All right, so this is the current trend, and you can see it was a little bit oversold, so it bounced, but short term is still a little bit overbought, but trending down. You can see that it's getting back to the support, so there will be a little bit higher chance of a bounce, and I think it's gonna go back to 344, 345 if the number coming decent and outlook is positive. However, there's a smaller chance, I would say, about, so for a bounce it would be about 60%. For pullback, I'm seeing 40% coming back to 295 to test this low right here. All right. For trend Y and pattern, I don't see much, except for here is a little bit of a bear flag like this, so we might have a pullback. That is why I give downside 40%. All right, next we have TFC Truist Financial Corporation. Well, today it went down. I think it's as related to the regional banks prices is actually going right now. So that is why it's down 5%. Well, it's oversold. Short term, long term is also falling down. So we have a little bit of support here, and you can see today it's actually closed the gap right here. You see this gap? So close the gap right here. So I see maybe we will have a bounce if at least to 43, if not 40, yeah, 43.76 at about 60% due to oversold condition. 40% it might break down even lower to 39. If the number come in just decent, but we might have more news on the regional bank, and it might even drag it down as well. So the number have to be really good for it to come to bounce back. But there's more chance of a bounce, all right, due to the recent pullback here. Let me see if I look at this. You can see the trend is actually trending down now. So today it's actually broke below the support here and touched the support. So I think there's a more chance of a bounce. It might not bounce as high as 43, but I would say maybe 42 something. But if the number coming a little bit better, we might hit 43. All right, next we have SLB. All right, so last time I expected to pull back, but I expected a bounce due to oversold, but it did not bounce that much, and then it pulled back below on earning after the earning, and then after that it's actually bounced up a little bit to 36, and then pull back and then bounce again. You can see the red line, which acts as a resistance. So every time it hit the red line, it's actually pulled back, and here as well. And I actually see a bear flag right here. All right, let me move it. Something like this. All right. So now it's oversold. Short term, long term, also oversold now. So I think more chance of a bounce where most likely we might hit 34. So 34. Oh, let me get this. So I would say about 34.50 at about without this bear flag, I would say 60, 65, but because of it, I would give it only about 60%. For a pullback, I see it coming down to 30, 60. So close to 31. So I would say 30, 60. Why? Because of this low right here. So we will see how it is. Let me check the trend line. Well, the trend line is actually now kind of like this. So we can see the trend is actually down there. And in a way, it hit the support and then bounced. So maybe it's going to bounce a little bit more. We'll see tomorrow. All right, next we have State Street. All right, let's do a quick little bit. Okay. Alright, so short term is neutral, long term is overbought. So I expect a pullback. Now with the regional news, we might have a pullback all the way down to 101 to close this gap right here. At about, I would say probably about 60%. One, you have this pattern here, right? And then you got three up there, but then today you got a bigger one. The good thing is this candle, it's closed a little bit higher than this, which is still a good thing, right? So that is why we may have a bounce tomorrow at about 40%. And guess what? The 118 is the level for the bounce. So a little bit more chance of a pullback, but we may have a pullback and then a bounce later on the same day. We don't know. But I'm seeing more chance of a pullback and break below this channel if it's still the regional banks news is still acting on the banks, and if the number is not really good, then we might have a more of a bigger pullback. Well, Third Bank Corp, same thing, but you can see this one is actually weaker. It actually opened lower and is almost 6% of a day, right? So let's see if we take these out and draw the new short-term trend. We can see is actually trending lower, right? Okay, trending lower, but it is hitting the support, and for the past months or so it actually oversold. So there is a higher chance of a bounce for this. Can get up to I would say maybe 43 at about 60%. 40% we might come down and that's 38. So the chance is still high for both direction, but I expect of a bounce more unless the number is not that great. And again, the regional bank news is getting worse, and we have a more of a break down below the support here and hit here. All right, so we will see. Let me draw a line there as a more of a major support. Okay, so next we have Huntington Bank share. You can see it, all banks, right? All right, so what we have here, trend is down again since a month ago. So looks like oh, okay, let's see. So it's almost like an M or an inverse W. So when that happens, usually what it means is this point will be tested again, meaning if it come down, right, it will come back up to test this level. For short term, I'm seeing something like this. You can see it's over, so short term and long term is also turning to negative. So there is a high chance of a bounce to 16 at about 60%. And about 40% pull back to 1460 or 1450. All right. So same deal. The number need to be good for a bounce. Okay. Regional financial. Well, same thing. You see, short term over so long term is turning weaker as well. And you see same playbook. The chart is almost the same as well, which can be scary. So again, we may have a bounce to 24 or all the way to 2460. At about 60%, 40%, it might come down even lower, hit this last support at 2150. %. All right. All right. Next we have Ally. All right. Ally is also regional, so it gets hit as well. So you can see the bear flag right here. If I switch to weekly, that bad, but it need to close back around 40. If it close below 3750, then it will basically engulf the whole bounce right here, and then most likely it will continue to the downside. So this is actually a weaker chart, and we might see a pullback to around 35 at about 40%. I would say 45, but because of the bear flag, I will have to cut it to 40%. 60% of a bounce to 41. So as long as the outlook decent and the number decent, we will have a bounce. But if not, the news are not good for regional bank, we might have a problem. Same thing for Comerica, 6% down today. And this is bad. So that means this gap most likely will be closed. You can see it's overbought, right, for a while. So most likely we have a pullback to 70, if not 68. How about 60%? Unless the number is actually good, it will come back and pass 81 at about 40%. But most likely downside is favored this time by the candle and the news. So we will see tomorrow. See how it is will react. Next is Autoliv ALV. Never seen this stock before. So you can see another bear flag here. If number coming good, we might see 129 at about only, I would say, 40 to 45%. 55 to 60%, we have a pullback to 110. Even though it's oversold, but if you switch to long-term weekly, it's actually overbought. So overbought plus the bear flag, so that is why 60% of a pullback. All right. Next is Webster Financial, another bank. So this one is another bad candle. You can see, look, this one is a big one. They got 3-day jump. This one turned negative, and then today it's been lower. So, which means we may have a more of a downside. It might can get down to $51. Right? At about, I would say 55-60%, 40% of a bounce to 58. So if the number coming pretty good, we might see a bounce, right? Okay, will be the last one here. Republic Bancorp, another regional, down 4% today. And you see this candle engulfing these three in a way, almost, but you know, it's actually close lower than even this candle, which means the downside is more likely. But because oversold since September, it's about 10%. Let me see. Look at this. Okay. So this is almost like a head and shoulder here. So even though there is a chance of a bounce due to the support here, but it looked like we might even go low and break down. But on percentage wise, I would say $66 pullback at about, I would say about only 55%, because it at the support here, right? So the chance and oversold, so the chance of a bounce is a little bit bigger, and it can go up to $71, $72 at about 45%. Oop. So you can see this is almost like 50-50, but upside has a little bit more chance. If this head and shoulder pattern play out, then we might have something of a drop to, let's see where you're gonna go. We're talking about $58. So we don't know how long it'll get there, but if it does, probably takes about, I don't know, 1 or 2. So this is something that we need to watch. All right, I'll just leave it here and then we'll come back to review one day. All right, thanks for watching. Please hit a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.